talk real quick about how you kind of met Richie and how you guys got connected, and then we'll go back to your past and kind of throw it way back.
Yeah, for sure. So the way I came across Richie, I was at work, and on your downtime, usually you're on your phones watching TV or whatever. And I was on TikTok actually, and while I was on TikTok, I was scrolling, and then I saw Richie's face on there, right, going live.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is cool. Let me see what he's talking about. So I clicked on the video, and he was like, he had his Bible out, and I thought that was pretty cool. He was just straight out, with his Bible, and he was reading the Word. He was reading, and he was like, he would read, and then he would break down what the verse was trying to say. And I was like, man, this is so cool. And he invited people that were watching them if they wanted to go to the church for men's group. So I asked them, where's men's group? And he said, it's in HB, at Huntington Beach. And I'm like, cool. And then he said where it's at, the address. So I'm like, cool, let me find a car, because I don't have a car right now. Let me see if I can get a car to go. And then I remember that I put the phone down, and I'm like, man, this would be so cool to be able to go to men's group, since I've been trying to go back to church like more regularly. So I prayed about it first. I'm like, man, God, please let there be a car for me to go. Let my in-laws be here, or my brother-in-law or my wife here on time, so that I can make it. And I prayed, and my father-in-law got home. He arrived from work, and I asked him, hey, is it okay if I borrow your truck to go to church? And he said, yeah, man, take it. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, thank you. So I went back to the live, and I told Richie, hey, I'm probably be able to make it tonight. I found a ride. And he goes, yeah, praise God,
Yeah.
So I went to church that night, and when I got there, he was there, sitting down with the men. And as soon as he saw me coming in, he didn't know who I was, but he approached me. He's like, hey, what's up, man? Come on in. That's cool. I'm like, hey, what's up, Richie? I'm the one that was on the TikTok live, telling you that I was trying to find a car. And he goes, dude, that's so cool you made it. So I met him there at that time. And I kept going to men's group. And then he started finding out that I was a barber. And well, now we work together,
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So you got him into your shop?
Yeah, I talked to my boss. I talked to my boss first, because Richie's like, hey, you're a barber too? I'm like, yeah. He goes, hey, are they hiring at your shop? And I'm like, I told him, well, I don't know, but I'll ask my boss. So I told my boss first. I was like, how am I going to tell boss man about Richie, And because,
payaso.
he looks like a clown, and he's tatted on the face. And I was thinking, like, how am I going to tell him? So I waited about like 4 or 5 days to tell my boss. And I was just trying to find a way to be able to tell him, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, Lord? I'm like, God, if it's meant for Richie to be here, like, give him the job. Just give him the job. If it's for him to be here, have him work here. Let this be a blessing for him.
Yeah.
Let this be good. Let this be good for the shop. So I told my boss, hey, boss, how would you consider hiring like a celebrity barber? And he goes, I don't know about celebrity barbers, bro. He goes, they want to work when they want to, they come late, or they do what they want because they have fame and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, why, you know somebody? And I'm like, yeah, I just met someone, and it's funny because I'm like, he goes, so who is he? I'm like, well, I'll show you a picture right now. So like a few minutes went by, and we go outside. Usually we eat ice cream, I'm always eating ice cream at work. So I grab my ice cream, and I'm like, he's like, so show me, who is this? And I'm like, you know what? First, I just want to tell you before anything, like, he has tats on his face, And it's like, I just wanted to prepare him in case he hadn't had someone work like that before.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, you know what, Will? I don't care about tattoos. He goes, I had a guy here that his whole face was tatted, and he had a lot of clientele. And I'm like, okay, cool then. So I'm like, well, look, this is him. And I showed him Richie's picture, and he's like, oh, I've seen him before.
Wow.
He goes, yeah. He goes, is he not cutting right now? I'm like, he's cutting from home, So he's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, tell him to call me. Give him my number.
Wow.
So that's when they linked up, and I told Richie, hey, there's a spot for you. And then one of our barbers, one of my good friends, Andrew, he was gonna leave to Texas. So he's like, you know what I could do? I could have him come check out the shop, see if he likes it. And if he likes it, he could take Andrew's spot once he leaves.
Wow.
So that was like for like 2 months. And then Andrew left. He recently left, and then he took a spot.
Wow.
So
When was that? Was that this year?
That was this year.
When did that happen? Like what month?
Let me see. We're in September. It had to be probably in July, August, September. Maybe like in July.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was there for a while, so he's kind of barely been there, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
People
cool.
like him though, bro. You know, it's crazy how many people come and seen him on his post, on his Instagram.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey man, I've been watching you, bro. Like, thank you for everything you do. You know, and ever since he's been there, like, I wasn't really living like holy. I wasn't really living sanctified. I wasn't really trying to live like a life where I'm pleasing God 100% because I wasn't going to church really. So whatever was going on, I was there. I wasn't doing drugs, but I was drinking. I was drinking, and you know, I wasn't. But I knew my limits because I know, like, I also know that like the fear of God is here, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I can't be doing this stuff. You know, I'm not gonna be doing that. You know. So with Richie, when he came, it's like we started talking more about God to people. And the crazy thing is, a lot of people started accepting Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, right? And they start talking about like, you know, hey, you know, like this and this and that, like, do you go to church and stuff like that? Or they'll talk about Richie, and that will spark up a conversation, you know. And then what the way I would do is like, they'll be like, hey, who's the clown in the back? And I'm like, oh, that's Richie, bro. And
That's
they're like,
funny.
yeah, like that guy looks crazy, huh? And they'd be like, what does he do or what? I'm like, he's a barber, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, he turned his life around, gave his life to God.
That's sick.
And a lot of people don't see it right away.
Yeah.
But when they start talking to him, they're like, man, this guy is really cool. There's this lady that they have a restaurant where we work at, and they sell tacos, fish tacos, so good, bro.
Is that where you guys are always at in your story?
Yeah, a lot of times we go there. Yeah. But the lady that works there, she goes, man, I really like your friend Richie. Like, he has this glow about him. You know, there's this glow about, and she goes, and like, I don't understand. Like, some people, I showed them his picture, and they're like, oh, what are you doing hanging out with this guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But she's like, nah, man, this guy's cool. Like,
That's
he's really cool, and that's Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus does that. You know.
Yeah.
So we've been praying for people, been getting delivered at the shop.
That's crazy.
You know.
Talk a little bit about that, like what it's like working with them and stuff. Like, is it? Because I know like it's like you guys got to get work done, but then also like you guys are kingdom minded. Like, how do you guys balance that?
So there definitely has to be a balance, right? Because that's like your dad told me this too. Pastor Manny, he said, you know, that's your guys' ministry. Like, that's your guys' also your job. So you have to be a good employee, right? You got to be a good worker, and also be wise enough to know like when is it okay? Because just because we're Christian and we know God is important doesn't mean that we're gonna neglect the people that are coming into the shop and the shop. You could get fired easily. You know, that's at any job. To other people, it could be like, oh, they're just chatting. You know, but we know that it's not just chatting. You know, we're trying to see how we can help this person, and you know, if God willing, He guides us. You know. So sometimes we're working, and like my boss is so cool. You know, my boss, I'll be like, hey, boss, we're going to go pray for this guy real quick. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead. He knows.
He's cool. I met him when I went to go get my haircut.
Yeah, he's really cool, man. Best boss ever,
Nice
bro.
guy.
He's so cool, dude. You know, and he's supportive. He goes, yeah, you guys, you know, just when people come in, get them. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm always working. As soon as people walk in, you know, hey, what's up? How are you? You'll be up right now, okay? Or whatever. And then if it comes that, you know, someone wants prayer, like, we don't talk about it at the shop. Like, we're not cutting hair and talking all loud about, you know? No, man. Like,
did they purposely put you guys on separate ends?
No, so
because you're literally one and he's way the other. I'm like, I wonder if they like separated them. You know, in school when you like talk a lot and stuff, and the teacher's like, all right, you sit over there, you sit over there. I thought that's what your boss did to you, like keep the Jesus talk down.
No, not at all. That'd be so funny. No, so when you first get hired there, they usually put you in the back, and then you move your way forward. You know.
So you're in the first, so that's like the spot you got.
That's the spot right there.
Dude, that's cool.
So the guy that was there, he left. So boss man's, I'm like, hey, boss, who are you going to put in the front? And he goes, I was actually thinking about putting you in the front. Since you talk to people a lot and, you know, you're friendly. So maybe you could greet them on their way in and on the way out. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
That's cool.
And at first I was like, man, like, it's kind of weird being in the front because I was like, maybe, like, you know, like it's a little darker there too. But I was like, you know, I didn't want to seem like, oh, I was moving to the front because I wanted to like get rank or anything. Not at all. But I did enjoy that I had my own sink and I have more space there, you know? So I was like, I don't have to be bumping elbows with other people, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that was cool, you know? And then, yeah, I've been there since.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.